Well, this is going to be a touchy one for some, and the last thing I'd ever want to do is offend anyone, but at the same time, it seems nowadays you could upset someone simply depending on how you pronounce words. So unsurprisingly, I'm expecting some people to get upset with this one, and that's alright because we're all entitled to our beliefs and opinions. All I ask is that you guys remain respectful of each other's beliefs, opinions, and overall just try to lead with love. I know you won't, but I figured I'd suggest it anyways. This truly seems to be one of life's biggest questions, as people all over the world, regardless of age, religion, or gender, at some point have likely asked themselves. So today we are staying true to the name of the channel as we ask, who created the creator? As always, be sure to smash that like button and let's get this one going. Now let me be very clear, if you're looking for a concrete, solid answer, you won't get that. And that's because, truth be told, this question does not just have one answer, as it's quite meta. Some could potentially make the argument that the creator, whether it be God or any other spiritual figure, was created in of itself. To make things more scientific, we understand that about 14 billion years ago, there was what we refer to as the Big Bang, the beginning of time and creation. But prior to the Big Bang, what happened? Well, without getting too scientific, because truth be told, I need more than 5 minutes to explain everything in detail, it seems in the first second after the universe was created, which we still don't know how it was created in the first place, the temperature was 5.5 billion degrees Celsius. Too hot for anything to really exist, you know? But particles were still there. Neutrons, electrons, protons. And as the universe cooled off, those particles started to morph together, evolve, decayed. Things happened. However, as NASA explained, we wouldn't be able to see this because no light would be able to get through. I quote NASA explaining in a statement, "The free electrons would have caused light, protons, to scatter the way sunlight scatters from the water droplets in clouds." But about 380,000 years after the Big Bang, scientific things happened, and the electrons mixed with the nuclei created neutral atoms and thus light. This light is often referred to as the cosmic microwave background, or CMB, which has been studied for decades since its confirmation in 1965. And as we've studied the CMB, we've made incredible discoveries, such as the confirmation that the universe is 13.82 billion years old, rather than the 13.7 billion age that was previously thought back in 2013. And as we learn more, naturally at some point, there will likely come a time that we find more scientific proof or evidence to back up our findings. But maybe not. Most astronomers believe that most of the cosmos, or universe, is made up of matter and energy we can't sense, or see with the instruments that we currently have made available. So does that mean just because we can't see it that it's not there? For some, yes. And usually in the scientific world, if there is no real concrete evidence that proves something, it tends to get dismissed. Yet this idea that what we see in space, stars, planets, galaxies, is a mere 5% of what's actually out there, and the rest is referred to as dark energy or matter, which we can't see or sense, then who's to say the same couldn't be said for the creator? Now another great example is oxygen. We can't see it, we can't smell it, but we all know it's there. Same can be said for gravity. You can't see gravity. You can see the effects gravity has on things, but you can't physically see gravity itself. And yet for some reason we've all come to terms that it exists and it's there. A very famous quote, which I've referenced before in videos on here, is by a man named Stuart Chase. The quote goes, "For those who believe, no proof is necessary. For those who don't believe, no proof is possible." Now ultimately it seems cliche to say that only those who believe will see, while those who don't believe never will. But again, using the example of oxygen or gravity, it's not such a controversial topic. It doesn't split people, doesn't really cause arguments. We all kind of just agree that it's there, both gravity and oxygen, even though there is no physical sense, example being touch, smell, or even sight to them. Now granted, I could, breathe in oxygen and feel that sensation, but again, that's not necessarily oxygen that I'm smelling, more so the effect of it. Now a very common answer, specifically speaking on God, when asked how it came to be, is that things that have been created need a creator. But things that have always existed since the beginning of time, need not to be created but simply continue existing. I find a question like this one to be so meta that as humans, sometimes you gotta just come to a conclusion of your own. Now what do I mean by that? Well, here's another question. Who named the brain? Something I've thought about for a while now. Technically, someone at some point made the decision that the thing in our head, the physical organ, is going to be referred to as the brain. But would you credit the specific person or the brain itself? Because technically speaking, the brain would have had to come up with the initial thought to name itself the brain, thus giving the person who's credited with naming the brain that thought in the first place. Again, it's very confusing and it may hurt your head to think about or hear, but sometimes in life, there are questions that we just don't have the answers to. Another one I often think about is what happens when someone dies. Naturally, we consciously think, Okay, if you're dead, then nothing is going on. There's no consciousness, so that means everything would just be dark, right? Like when you close your eyes, or almost like when you sleep. But just because I don't remember my dreams consciously doesn't mean that I didn't think of them. And even the idea of pure darkness during death is still a thought we consciously have, assuming what death is like, because we genuinely can't comprehend not having any sort of consciousness. But isn't that what death is? Point I'm making is just because we can't fully understand it from a scientific standpoint, or if there's no concrete evidence, doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't exist. And truth be told, guys, personally I'm not a very religious person myself. I respect all religions and beliefs and genuinely hope all of you do as well. Feel free to drop us some comments down below on this one, but again, please just be respectful of each other. It seems a question like this truly is left up for interpretation, and regardless of what conclusion you come to, you're only as right or as wrong as you believe yourself. As always, guys, drop some thoughts down below. For now, let's reply to some comments from the video. What if Darkseid was real? The awesome Manny said, dude, we would die. WTF are we supposed to do? LMAO. You guys are just so, like, all the comments were like, oh, if Darkseid was real, we'd be dead. What if they thought that during World War I or World War II? And they're just like, oh, we got no shot, let's just put the weapons down. Now, granted, I understand it was human against human, but like, you know, at some point, someone created, well, I guess when they nuked them, that kind of did end things, eh? The point I'm making is like, there's always something more powerful, so we just gotta figure it out. Fox Jake said, which is the best Christmas movie, Lethal Weapon or Die Hard? I feel like you've asked this question before and I've answered it, and I'm gonna give you the exact same answer I've given you before, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Both the best Halloween and Christmas movie. Dion Mathai said, bro, Darkseid is the antagonist, and Chris Melite also commented that I called him the antagonist, and to that, all I'm gonna say, because Chris said something like, it was like, I'm gonna give you a hard, well, can I say no? I think so. I'll just say hard time. Chris said something like, I'm gonna give you a hard time for calling him the protagonist because he's the antagonist, and all I have to say to that, folks, is everyone is the hero of their own story. Learned that from my improv teacher in college, Alan Gutman, who I don't think he watches these videos, but if he does, shout out Alan. And when I tell you guys, even the Joker from the Batman, any villain that you think of, in their mind, they're doing the right thing. They're trying to help the world and society. Even with the Joker, because this whole thing is like chaos and destruction, in his mind, chaos and destruction is the right thing. To us, it's wrong, to him, it's right. So everyone's the hero of their own story. Something I've always kept with me in life in general when people do things and I think, why would they do that? From their perspective, it was the right thing to do. Everyone's the hero of their own story. In regards to Darkseid, he is the hero of his own story. To the Justice League, maybe it's different, but to him, he's definitely the hero. Alright guys, that's all for this one. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let us know what other videos you guys want to see in the comments down below. We're taking a new approach to the channel, and we're excited to go there with you guys.